Yeah, perfect now, yeah. You got that dip, you got that snap, good. Yeah, nice.
Been boxing for around 9-10 years now. Currently, next week I'm boxing senior elite finals down in London. So it'll be the second time I've got to finals and got a bronze medal last year. Hopefully getting through, going to get the gold this year.
Callum has been there at the very start of when I've started working in boxing. I was strength and conditioning coach, intern, football and rugby clubs. I've just started training this student boxer in the gym that was affiliated with Sheffield City ABC, and I went into the gym and I could hear some thudding on the pads, and I'm thinking, who's that? That's got to be like a big heavyweight. And I went in and it's Callum, looking like a pit bull, absolutely smashing the pads, and I'm thinking this kid is an absolute animal. Yeah, that's it, better. Just one more. Yeah, nice, other side.
Boxing gave me everything. I was just a fat kid, pretty much, simple as. Always a good kid. I was pretty good at every sport. I mean, you get them kids at school who like can always play a sport, and I was average at every sport. Like I could always play. Nothing I couldn't do. I just went fit. I was just really fat. I used to really struggle with my asthma when I was younger. I used to have really bad asthma. I couldn't run for any more than 5 seconds, I think, without flaring up and having an asthma attack. As I got a bit older, tried boxing. And ever since I did boxing, I've never done any other sport since, I don't think. Tried a session, went down, loved it. Nervous as though, went in, thought I was gonna probably bash these kids around. These little lads and kids, probably a third of my size, were knocking me left and right around ring if I didn't know what was happening. So it almost that glued me to it. I was just like, how can these lads be half my size? And that's when I knew like it's not just about your size. So
when he first started, what was really apparent is a really strong athlete, but not particularly blessed in his movement and everything like that, because really how we got into boxing was because he was a little bit overweight and he needed to lose that weight and keep fit. So we've got 5 years down the road now, and it's been one hell of a journey. Obviously because of his injuries, his shoulder surgeries, these played a massive factor in his development. Keep it solid, tuck up your knees if you need to.
Spar, I think I threw a shot, my left hook on next thing on, thought that like a clunk in my shoulder, and then from then on I just kept trying to train through it, and after a few days after a spar my arm would be really sore, couldn't really lift it, sometimes it'd be worse than others, try and come out of a spar, and for about a year I on and off way, just couldn't compete because every time I'd spar my shoulder, I'd immobile, I literally couldn't do anything. I can remember being at college and not being able to move my arm, I just couldn't even write, I'd have to have days off. So I got my shoulder through there to Claremont Hospital. Straight away they said, look, you need to have surgery. After a year of waiting and training and being going at doctors and saying, oh, you need this and physios, yeah, you need to have a surgery. So I had the surgery, and 3 months I couldn't box for after that.
Yeah, let's go, Cal. 136. 143. Yeah, good. 136.
Well, as after I come off the first time, I had my first spar back, or second one, and my throwing a shot again, and I knew straight away just gone. And I just felt like my life had just been the same again. I knew it was going to happen. Went back to say to Claremont, they said, oh, literally they were really apologetic. Dr. Potter, I remember almost, you could see in his face and say it to me, knew it had gone straight away. He said, look, it was their fault. They should have done the, not keel surgery, should have done the bone graft the first time. Didn't realise, obviously, to the extent of how much I'd used to train and stuff, what power I'd be putting through my shoulder. That were about probably a bit longer, maybe like 12 to 16 weeks. Couldn't do any boxing for. See me come back, got to, I think, shape my life, yeah, again down at 81. Even after them fights, after my spars, my shoulder used to be sore afterwards, not as bad, but I'd still maybe for a day or two, I couldn't, a bit immobile. So I went back to hospital again. They said, oh look, we can do like a clean-up surgery, but after this one, there's nothing else we can do. And ever since then, touch wood, it's been fine, it's been absolutely fine.
Found out a lot about Callum through that time, and I had to support him in many different ways, and had to be imaginative about his programming, thinking about what he can do, what he can't do, how to get that shoulder back right again, so when he gets back into the ring, back into training, he's ready to go straight away. And it was very pleasing, to see him back on top, especially like last season. Now he's got the English title belt. That night was fantastic, and seeing how much it meant to him and to Brendan, his head coach, and to his family as well. After all that hard work, everything paid off that night. Explode. Yeah, nice.
I'd never been in the shape that I am. Like I have been for the last, every time I've come to box, if it weren't for Dan and we're doing working in boxing science, doing all the strength training. It's not just strength training, it's the stuff with the runs and the conditioning. And even all down to the little things, just before the fight's out, your training changes, whereas before boxing, you just ham yourself, and maybe till a week before, and, all right, you get a bit of a time off now, and then you have a bout. Whereas not, it's all structured. We've got a plan. There's something set. I know what I'm going to be doing in for the next 4 weeks, and then the next 4 weeks, and then before a fight, I know it's going to go. But in terms of my fitness, it's the best shape I've ever been in. Hitting harder, I'm faster.
The way that Callum excels is a really, really strong athlete compared to the rest of the boxers. He'll be able to deadlift the most, squat the most, more or less bench press the most as well. So when we're working maximal strength, I know that he's going to be determined to lift the highest weight possible. When we're working on strength speed, he's going to be lifting the bar as fast as possible. When he's on the curve and having 2 30-second maximum sprints, you won't see anybody in like a state like Callum after them sprints. Every time he's on the floor, absolutely blowing, can't feel his legs. He'll do anything to win and keep going. So many times his opponents come up to him after and can't believe the physical presence that he's got, how strong, how fast, how fit he is, and how he keeps going. It's all about the application. I know that Callum's going to give it 110% every programme that he does, and every programme that he has done is kept. It's kept a record, it's filled in every weight that he's ever lifted on the boxing science programme, and it's great to look back on and reflect on the journey that he's been on. That's your first one, that, isn't it?
I think it is.
Oh, one of them. Back in 2013, 2014. Neat handwriting, yeah, Callum.
Not getting better.
But yeah, it's great to see, like, like he's kept all these programmes, can reflect on the stuff that he's done over the time, and like we've discussed, going back and having 3 shoulder surgeries, the kind of work that you've had to get in, like this one here, like the goblet squat with pause, landmine reverse lunge, slingshot press ups, which is like with the band, weren't it? Yeah, so the band coming off the frame. Off the frame. Yeah. So like not being able to do a press up.
Yeah.
And it, like, when it comes to like the way that you are now, and how like strong and explosive you are, and going into these elite championships, like looking back on this now makes you realise kind of how far you've come.
It's these championships coming up. There's nothing more than what I want is to win it. I know I can beat the lad who I've got in the quarter final. I know I can beat potentially the lads who I've got in the 2 of the lads potentially got in the semi-final. In plan, as in what you think the number 1 seed or the lad who I lost to last year, best kid in our weight, if he gets to the final, I'll meet him. I know I could have beat him last year, so I definitely could beat him this year. How much I've learned, I want to be the best in the world, and I know training like I do, I know I can potentially be world champ. Winning these will set me on his way to do it. You can't get through stuff like this then. When it gets hard, winning a fight or a sport, and something goes wrong for you, so you've got a disadvantage, you've got to score, well, I'll come back tomorrow and do it. You've got to get on with it.